We're going to talk about garden shears. Not pruners, but the lighter weight garden shears. We're going to compare several different ones. Coming up. I'm Roger, welcome to the shop, and it's a bit chilly in here, hence the sweatshirt, but we're going to talk about garden shears. The type that you use for fine trimming, fine pruning. Maybe you have flower garden, you're cutting flowers, you need to, maybe even bonsai. You need to get in and trim the small things. And we're going to compare several different brands. We use these on a very regular basis because if you've seen any of my previous videos, you may have heard me mention that we have an e-commerce business and we have 4 greenhouses. So therefore, these things get used a lot. So I'm going to compare some different brands, and I'm going to show you what's worked well, and then I'm going to show you what's really cheap at the bottom end of the spectrum on these garden shears. So let me get the camera aimed down here, and I'll talk about these. Okay, laying here in front of me are several different kinds. These 4 here are brand new, and we're going to talk about them in a minute. But I'm going to talk about some of these here that we've used over the years and exactly how well they've worked. This particular one here, we have several of these. These are manufactured, well, can't say manufactured, they're distributed by A.M. Leonard. And as you can see, they do rust. They're not stainless steel, but they hold up very, very well. We have a couple of them where the tips have got broke off because they got dropped on the concrete. But for light cutting and for taking cuttings of perennials and basal cuttings, the fine points on these are absolutely ideal. And they've held up well. This pair here is probably at least 10 years old. The disadvantage of this is it's very, very difficult to sharpen because you can't take it apart. Next up, we have one here. It's called by Inox. This is made in Italy. They don't have quite a fine point on them, but they are stainless steel. They do not rust. And the edge is held up fairly well. I don't know how old these are exactly. They do have a spring return in the middle. And I don't know exactly where you can get these, but it's Inox, that's I-N-O-X. And I would suppose these are probably around $15 or so. These A.M. Leonard ones are quite a bit more, but you get what you pay for. Next up, I have this one here. It doesn't even have a brand name on it. We've had this for years and years. And they have wood handles. It does rust. But one of the advantages of this one is when you want to sharpen it, you can take it apart by taking this nut off. You can also adjust the tension. This is a nylock nut, so it's possible to tighten it up to get these closer together. We have several pairs of these. They used to have a little latch in here to keep them latched shut, but most of us take them off because they always latch at the wrong time and they become a nuisance, especially when you're using them a lot. We use these a lot for cutting back perennials when we need to do a lot of them, short of using the electric shears. But when you're getting down in, and they're fairly heavy duty, but it's not for real fine work. Next up, I have one called Rolling Dog. And these were bought on Amazon a few years ago. The spring has got lost out of this. It does have a latch here where you can latch it shut. And it stays out of the way so that it's not getting in your way. It has a area down here at the bottom where you can cut a little bit heavier stem. I wouldn't be using these to prune trees, but for, you know, if you're pruning roses or cut flowers, these here will work well. This one here is also adjustable as far as your tension here and your closeness, and you can take it apart to sharpen it. The edges on this have held up real well. I don't know what country it was made in. I mean, at least it doesn't say made in China on it. But these have held up fairly well. Next, we have a set. They're made by Yardworks. And these are obviously made in China. And you got these little bitty tiny pruners here, which if you're doing something really lightweight, maybe roses or some cut flowers, asters or glads or something, yeah, these are fine. There is an adjustment on here where you can tighten up the tension if you want to, but definitely not for anything heavy duty. They're just not so good. And here's the other pair of it. These are very, very fine point, and these have worked well for getting in on very soft stem things with this very, very small needle point on it. And here again, this one is adjustable. There's a little nylock nut here, and there's a little Phillips screw you hold, and you can lock them shut. And this lock stays out of the way. It doesn't just slide back up in like a lot of them do and become a nuisance. So yeah, they're okay. But we don't use these in the greenhouses on a regular basis. Just wanted to point these out. We did pick these up several years ago, and well, they leave something to be desired. Next one here, and this doesn't even have a brand name on it. It says designed in Germany and made in China. So these are a little bit heavier duty garden shears, and they're stainless steel. They don't rust. There is a little area at the bottom here of the blade to cut a little bit heavier stem. And one of the kind of novel things on this is if you all of a sudden you got something you can't quite cut with this, you need something a little bit heavier duty, you flip the handles, now you got a pruner. And they're not as heavy duty as a Diston or a Felco or something like that, but they do work. It's kind of a handy little thing to have when you're out in the field. So these are the ones that we've used a lot. Now I'm going to get into some of these newer ones. This one here, this is really at the bottom of the barrel. This is $3.69 on Amazon with free shipping. So I'll kind of give you an idea. Of course, it's made in China. The brand name is Hanlomele. Hanlomele. Gardening, it says precision cutting. So it has very, very fine tips on it. They are curved. I'm going to have to wait and see how well this works out in production and how well they hold up. It looks like the blade is adjustable, and you could take this apart to sharpen it. One thing I see right now I don't like is this little lock. It locks the handle. I could see you'd be working here, and yeah, just like that. It locks when you don't want it to. So if we're going to put these into some serious use, that thing will be taken off. Okay, next up I have the HFS. Soft grip, micro trip, pruning snip, leaf trimmer, scissor, quick pruning snip, garden scissors, flower cutting scissors. This is $5.50 Amazon with free shipping. So there again, it's made in China. It's manufactured for the hardware factory store out of California, but made in China. Now we'll take a little bit of a look at these. And here again, some of these here are going to get a workout here this summer. So first thing I notice, other than not having a curved blade, it's almost identical to the $3.69 one. In fact, other than the color, and like I say, a little bit of a curved blade, this is identical. So it's probably made in the same factory. I mean, it's even got the same little cheesy lock on it right here that will probably get taken off. It says stainless steel blades, but so does this one. It's got a nice fine point, and they do seem to close fairly well. We'll see how they work, but I just wanted to compare some of these little cheap ones you can get on Amazon to the commercial, you know, Felco and A.M. Leonard and the good Italian-made ones we have. So that's those two. So next we have a set. These are made by Vivosun, Precision Pruner, right here. So these are $6.80 each. One has a curved nose on it. Of course, these are made in China. Made in PRC. Yeah, People's Republic of China. So open this up, and what do you notice? Of course, we got the curved blade. You got the curved blade. Take a look at them. Probably made in the same factory. They are absolutely identical. So now let's look at the straight blade one. So here we are with the straight blade one. This one says Vivosun, this one says HFS. Again, obviously made in the same factory. I mean, they, other than the color and the brand name on them, they are absolutely identical. So, what do we pay here? The Vivosun was $6.80. The HFS here was $5.50. We'll get down here, these one with the curved blades. The Vivosun brand, $6.80. The Hanlo Melly, or whatever you want to call it, and like I said, other than the colors, these are identical. This was $3.69. So we'll see how these hold up. I mean, they're pretty cheesy, you know, with these plastic handles and everything. You get into the commercial ones here, like these A.M. Leonard's, and I do have a pair of Falcos here somewhere. There's a pair of Falcos, but I know the tips are broke because I am the one that broke them. I dropped this. So these are what we use the most. These Falcos and these A.M. Leonard ones. Like I said, these are at least 10 years old. We like these. This thing here is just kind of a gimmick, but it's kind of handy if you're out in the garden. This, and I don't know the brand, there's nothing marked on it. These are probably 20 years old, and they have held up extremely well. They've been sharpened a couple times, and incidentally, if you do decide to sharpen garden shears, or even scissors for that matter, do not sharpen on the flat side. You sharpen on the bevel, right here. And you don't need to have that razor sharp, because then it'll just dull in a hurry. And there's kind of a double bevel on this. This one has worked very, very well. These Inox shears, stainless steel, they're made in Italy. They're not cheap, as I recall, but they have worked very well and have held up very well. Then we get back into the rolling dog. These are a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier, some of the bigger stuff. Like I said, the spring's been lost out of it. They do have a nice, comfortable handle, but I'll have to put another spring in there. They're okay. Then we get into the Yardworks ones here. Yeah, if you just do this occasionally, it's kind of like a hobby. I suppose these would be all right, but for commercial use, no, not so good. So that's my little pile of shears here. We'll get the good ones over here, the little cheap ones over here. And I'll probably post something here after the spring season's over and everybody gets into using these a lot. We'll see how good they are. So there's my review of garden shears. Maybe not shop related as in everything you see behind me here, but it is something that we use on a regular basis, and we use them on a commercial basis. So therefore, durability and ease of use is very, very important to us. When you're out in your garden and you're trimming a few flowers, that's one thing. But when you have a greenhouse with thousands of flowers or perennials that need to be trimmed, or you're doing cuttings by the hundreds, you need something that is easy to use and durable. Hence, I did this little review of these. Really wanted to see what kind of stuff you could get for under $10 in garden shears. I know from pruners, and we use Felco number 2s for all of our heavy-duty pruning things, compared to, you know, some of the cheaper brands, even the Coronas. Corona's okay, but it's more of a consumer level and not a professional level item. A.M. Leonard, there's amleo.com if you decide you want to investigate some of their shears. I don't know if they sell those on Amazon or not, but you get what you pay for when you get into tools like this. So there's my review of them. If you got a little something out of this, appreciate getting a thumbs up. Of course, we're always looking for subscribers, and next to that subscribe button's a little bell. You ring that bell, you'll be notified when I post another video. Otherwise, I'm Roger in the shop, and these are about the garden shears. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.